Book of Heaven, Volume 24, June 25th, 1928. Everything that is done in the Fiat acquires the continued act, without ever ceasing. Example of the sun. The purpose of Jesus going into the desert. The pains of isolation. I was praying and feeling my extreme misery. I prayed my celestial mama to give me her love to make up for my meager love. But while I was doing this, my sweet Jesus, moving in my interior, told me,
"My daughter, my mama did her first love and her first act in the divine will. And since it was done in it, it possesses the continuity as if it were always in act, loving and operating. Her love never ends. Her works act as the continued repeaters, in such a way that whoever wants to take her love finds it always in act, while it is the effect of the first love that is repeated and repeated always. Such is one who operates in my will. Her acts acquire the continuity. They are always repeated without ever ceasing. They are the true sun which, from the moment it was created by God, gave its first act of light, but so great as to fill heaven and earth with one single act. And it repeats this act always, without ever ceasing, in such a way that all can take its act of light, though one was the act that constituted itself act of perennial light for all. And if the sun could repeat its act of light, one would see as many suns for as many acts as it could repeat. But since one was the act of light it did, one sees only one sun and no more. But what the sun did not do, the sovereign queen did, and one who operates in my will also does. As many suns for as many acts, and these suns are fused together, though distinct among themselves in beauty, in light, in the glory that they give to their Creator, and in the universal good that they make descend upon all creatures. These acts have a divine power, and just as by virtue of these acts the Most Holy Virgin could obtain the coming of the Word upon earth, by virtue of them my kingdom will come upon earth. An act repeated incessantly in my Fiat possesses a conquering, enrapturing, and enchanting virtue before our divinity. That continuous repeating in the divine volition is the strength of the soul, the invincible weapon that debilitates her Creator and conquers him with weapons of love. And he feels honored to let himself be conquered by the creature.
After this, I was continuing my round in the divine Fiat, and in following my Jesus on the way to the desert, I thought to myself, and why did Jesus take the way of the desert? There were no souls to be converted there, but profound solitude, while it was souls that he was searching for. But while I was thinking of this, my sweet Jesus, moving in my interior, told me,
"My daughter, company breaks the pain and diminishes it, while isolation concentrates it, doubles it, and makes it harsher. And I wanted to go into the desert to feel in my humanity all the harshness of the isolation that my divine will had suffered for many centuries on the part of creatures. My humanity was to ascend into the divine order and descend into the human order to be able to enclose the pains of both one and the other, and, taking upon myself entirely the painful part that divided man and God, have men cling once again to the embrace, to the kiss of their Creator. But the purpose of my going into the desert was not only this. You must know that our adorable Majesty, in forming the creation, established that every place was to be populated by inhabitants, and that the earth was to be extremely fertile and rich with abundant plants, in such a way that all would have an abundance. As man sinned, he drew upon himself the indignation of divine justice, and the earth remained deserted, infertile, and in many places depopulated, image of those sterile families in which there is no laughter, no feast, no harmony, because without children there is no one who breaks the monotony of the two spouses, and the nightmare of isolation weighs on their hearts, leading them to sadness. On the other hand, where there are children, there is always something to do, to say, and occasions to celebrate. Such was the human family. Look at the sky, how populated with stars it is. The earth was to be the echo of the sky, crammed with inhabitants, and it was to produce so much as to render everyone rich and happy. As man withdrew from my will, his lot changed, and I wanted to go into the desert in order to call back the blessings of my celestial Father, and, by calling my will to reign again, restore the earth, populate it everywhere, and fecundate it in such a way that the earth will produce more seeds and more beautiful ones, such as to increase it 100-fold, rendering it more fecund and of radiant beauty. How many great things will the kingdom of my divine Fiat do? So much so that all the elements are all in waiting, the sun, the wind, the sea, the earth, and all creation, to deliver from their womb all the goods and effects which they contain. In fact, since the divine will that dominates them does not reign in the midst of creatures, they do not put out all the goods they enclose within themselves, giving them only what they have to as alms, and as to servants. So, the earth has not produced all the seeds. The sun, not finding all the seeds, does not produce all the effects and goods it possesses, and so with all the rest. This is why all await the kingdom of the Fiat, to show creatures how rich they are, and how many admirable things the Creator has placed in them for love of the ones who were to be the children of His will.